Becky, who died of a marijuana drug overdose, a viral meme and a wild internet theory was born. One Tumblr user called out the image saying, "Pretty sure that's Taylor Swift," but another user replied simply saying, "No, it's Becky." While it's super obvious to most of us that the picture is indeed Taylor, there were still some out there who believed that Taylor had a real doppelganger out there named Becky, who died of a tragic marijuana snorting. The best part of this crazy internet theory, though, was when Taylor was spotted wearing a "No, it's Becky" t-shirt, giving the internet a little wink at the meme. Now we just have to wait for Becky to be spotted wearing a "No, it's Taylor" t-shirt, and this theory could actually be proven right, but we won't hold our breath. Next up, a less than flattering picture of Demi became one of the craziest memes of all time, thanks to one fan captioning it with a fake story about how the picture is actually of Demi's twin sister, Poot Lovato. The story of Poot was that she was locked in a basement her entire life, and this picture was taken on the first day she went outside. The real story behind this picture is that bad angles happen to all of us, celebrities like Demi included. However, Poot Lovato will forever remain in our hearts, as well as 1,000 conspiracy theory forums on the internet. Our next crazy internet theory that claims Meghan Trainor was in High School Musical went viral after Miley Cyrus shared the theory on her Instagram. Fans noted the striking resemblance between Meghan and the actress who played Martha from High School Musical, and Miley, who was in High School Musical herself, jumped on the theory bandwagon. Of course, this one was quickly debunked because Martha was actually played by an actress named Casey Stroh and not Meghan Trainor. When Miley heard the news that the theory was wrong, she blamed her mistake on smoking too much of the green stuff. Yep, that'll do it. Next up is a conspiracy theory that is so crazy that we can't even. This one claims that Katy Perry is actually JonBenet Ramsey, all grown up. JonBenet was a pageant child star who was mysteriously killed at just 6 years old in 1996. It was a huge scandal. But one conspiracy theorist named Dave Johnson proclaims that the murder and death was a hoax in order for the young girl to become a pop star named Katy Perry. The only evidence that this insane theory has to back it is the kind of sort of resemblance between JonBenet and Katy, which just isn't enough to get us behind it. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Next on our list, even Queen Bee isn't immune to crazy theories and conspiracies. The biggest one being that her pregnancy with Blue Ivy was completely faked, and she and Jay-Z's daughter was actually born via surrogate. You've probably heard this one. So it all started when Beyonce's baby bump seemed to deflate as she sat down for an interview on an Australian talk show. But after sharing some candid photos of her growing belly throughout her pregnancy, Beyonce squashed those rumors and also commenting, quote, "It's actually the most ridiculous rumor I think I've ever had about me. There are certain things that you just shouldn't play around with, and a child, you don't play around with that." All we can say about this one is Beyonce, we trust. Next up, is Nicolas Cage a real-life vampire? That's a great question. A picture of a man who looks identical to him in the late 1800s seems to suggest he might be. As you can see in the photo, Nicolas Cage either had an uncanny doppelganger during the Civil War or is an immortal man who decided to become a world-famous actor. But Nick Cage himself gave the best debunking theory on this one, explaining that if he was a vampire, he couldn't be photographed in the first place. No one can argue with that. Unless, of course, that whole vampires can't ever be photographed thing is just a clever but false fact vampires have used for centuries to cover up their true identities. And finally, one of the craziest internet pop culture theories of all time has one of the most iconic singers in history at the front and center. Former Beatles star Paul McCartney is alive and well, but there are some theorists who believe the singer actually died in a car crash in 1966 and that his fellow band members covered up the death in an effort to hide it from their millions of loyal fans. The theory claims that his bandmates found a lookalike replacement for Paul and cites the album cover for Abbey Road as a clue to the conspiracy. The famous album cover is staged to look like a funeral procession with John in white as the holy man, Ringo in black as the undertaker, George in jeans as the gravedigger, and barefoot Paul as the corpse. While this is some clever, if